Hello, YouTube. Is here, or Israel. Um, it's been a while since I made a video. Um, I've had just, I don't really have any excuses. But anyway, my intention is to kind of pick up where I left off. Um, uh, which is basically singing God's praises. Um, I've had some really neat experiences as of late, and I'm going to talk about those. Um, and my hope is that others have experiences similar to these. So, here we go. Um, I've had a couple things happen while I was watching a program on TV. Um, it's kind of it's kind of strange. So what's going on is so the TV's on and I'm somewhat paying attention, but more so I'm in my spirit I'm interacting with the Lord, and um, the way that works is basically um, when something happens or whatever, I'm just kind of bouncing my ideas off. I'm thinking, well, you wouldn't do that, or that's exactly how I think you would handle that, or whatever. And that is what it is. And usually, um, I might get uh, like feel I don't know how to explain it, but like something comes over me, and it's very fulfilling. It's very calming, or whatever. Um, However, I was watching on this particular program that had been going on, but I had kind of been quiet for a little bit, and I was just more or less just watching. And something there was a scene, and in the scene it was a father and a son, and the son had screwed up, um, and he was trying to explain himself, and um, he he said part of the reason he had acted that way was out of anger. And two things were said from the father to the son. And I don't remember which one was first, but I remember what happened to me while I was laying there on the couch. Um, One of the things that was said was, there is nothing to forgive. And when that happened, I mean, it took my breath, like it's like he touched me or something. Like, are you listening? Because I struggle with sin, as everyone does, um, and I don't like it, and it drives me crazy. And we're taught that when God saves us, that He now sees us as in a glorified state. He sees our future self that we don't see yet. And that's really hard to grasp. Um, but in that moment, I got the message. I mean, I didn't levitate, but I like came off the couch. Like it was so impactful. And I was not expecting it. Like I wasn't, we weren't having a back and forth or anything like that, but he wanted me to know. It was like he said that to me. And it was awesome. And again, I don't remember which happened first, but I get angry fairly easily, it would seem. Usually over nothing. But sometimes over, legitimate stuff. Um, I try to do what he says, give freely. Um, it doesn't, sometimes I'll feel taken advantage of. And I'll be angry. I don't say anything externally, but I am angry, or a plethora of other reasons. And another thing that was said in that same short piece of dialogue was, "Son, I am always with you, especially in anger." So that made me, and again, there was a shift in my spirit. Like it was clear that was he was speaking to me. That was very relieving. It's not that I didn't think that he, like, whatever. There are times I hope he has a mute button. All right. I'm not gonna listen to that. I hope. Um, but yeah, there's nothing to forgive, and so I am always with you, especially in anger. Not that I think that means but go be angry all the time, but I think I think he gets. Although he is meek and he is super patient, I think he's saying, yeah, I get angry too. Yeah, these things, I understand why you're mad. So that was just really, it was particularly on there's nothing to forgive. I mean, that's happened to me one other time when I was watching a program, and then I'll talk about that. In this show, there's this thing where this guy, he's like putting his hands on this object, and this object has some sort of I don't know, power or whatever. It's not a biblical type. It wasn't a biblical type show. It wasn't anything like that. But while he's doing this, like he has a connection with this other person, this woman. And at the time, I was asking the question, um, is there anyone else out there like me? Like, surely, surely, surely. I mean, I want everyone to experience it. I want everyone to know God the way I know Him. Surely, that's the case. Um, at least that there's someone else out there. Anyway, in this scene, um, he he's got his hands on this thing, and it's all this stuff's happening or whatever, and then all of a sudden, he's it's like he's transported, and that girl are both simultaneously transported, and they're kind of it's like it's like a way a heaven could be depicted. It was a grassy mountainous area. The clouds were like in the clouds, and they were at peace. They were like totally at peace. And the same thing happened to me. The way it impacted me was profound, and completely unexpected. Like I don't know why it took me there, spiritually, but it did. And it was, again, it was, it was very intense in a very, very good way. And I was blown away when that happened. Which that was a few months ago. So I wonder if anyone else has had experiences like this, where God has spoken to them. He's spoken to me through other people's conversations that are just like in passing. Like I'll ask a question, and someone will walk by, and the answer will be in what they just said. I mean, it's amazing how he talks. It is amazing how he talks through the radio, obviously through TV, through audiobooks. It's just amazing. If I tune out the world and am in communication with him, the way he responds. Sometimes it's through signage on the road, like I mean, it's in your face, like that movie Final Destination. It's like in your face like that. It's so obvious if you're looking for it. Um, and like once you have that connection, it's all the time. It's every day. It's every way. It's everywhere. It's awesome. And you can't help but to foster that relationship. You can't help to, because it's so amazing and it's so good, and he's so patient and he's so kind and he's so thoughtful, and he doesn't, like destroy you whenever you screw up, or if you get mad or yell at him or whatever. Like he doesn't respond the way we respond. He's so kind. So one other thing, and I want to wrap this up. So I've spoken before about being kind of led through different sermons, particularly through Bishop Jakes. And it's not always like the sermon that he just gave. Sometimes it's sermons that are old, but they show up in my feed on YouTube, and I'll listen to them, and they'll be like relevant to my situation that day. One of the things, now I'm having trouble remembering even what it was. Oh, it was about, oh, I'll get these names wrong. Elijah and Elijah and anyway, you got the prophet, and then you got the one that with the oxen that's plowing the fields, and he wants to follow. And in order to do so, he slaughtered all of his oxen and he burned his plows. He's like, I have nothing to go back to. I'm 100% bought in. And when I heard that, I thought, ooh, this means I'm going to have to. I currently have the best job that I've ever had, the best company I've ever worked for. It's the most lucrative. It's the least amount of stress. It's the least amount of responsibility. It's close to home. I have good relationships with all of my coworkers, and I'm like, crap, because I kind of started thinking, I have to give up this job. And I don't know what it is he wants me to do. It kind of felt like, oh man, I'm gonna have to just in faith stop going, quit this job. And later on, during that shift, because I was listening at work, I went to the canteen to get a drink or something, and they post jobs on the wall, and I didn't see it, wasn't looking for it, and somebody pointed it out to me, like, hey, look at that. And I looked at it, and it was for a lead position. And I said, well, good luck. I didn't want that. And I wasn't considering the sermon that I had just heard. In any case, the position that was posted it's a position held by multiple people because there's multiple shifts, and one of those people happened to be in the canteen at the moment. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, who's leaving? Why is this job available? Yada, yada, yada. And I don't remember his answer as far as that's concerned, but I do remember him saying, well, I was speaking with the production manager today, and he asked who I thought could do this job, and you're the one whose name I gave, myself and someone else. And then we ended up talking about it for a piece of time, and I said, well, at the end he wanted to know, are you going to do this? Are you going to consider this? Are you going to apply? And I said, I will pray on it. I will do that. I will pray. And if this is what God wants me to do, then sure. Otherwise, no. Because I didn't say this, but I'm not really interested. So, and the other thing was the job you had, it was like the 28th, and you had 2 days you had to apply by the 30th, and I work night shift, so even though it was the 28th, it was the 28th from midnight, so most of that day was already gone. So basically I had the following day to apply. So I come home, I shower, go to bed, do my thing, and then I wake up and I don't think it was by the alarm because it was my day off. And but I woke up at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, something like this, and was unusually tired, like unusually tired. Like opening my eyes seemed to be a struggle. Like it's not just like, oh, I'm sleepy. Like it was like there was something unnatural. It was an unnatural tiredness. And so I prayed at that moment. And I asked God if I could put a fleece before him. If you don't know what that means, I, I don't know the particulars. It's David Wilkerson's book, The Cross and Switchblade. He talks about it, and he did this kind of elaborate thing. God like answered it to the 10th degree. I mean, he just it was like it was amazing. It was obvious. Okay, yes, this is what I want. And so I asked if I could the fleece was because I was so tired. I said, God, if this is what you want me to do, would you increase my energy exponentially? And then I just laid there. And soon thereafter, it was like I was being submerged in this warm liquid almost. Like it started at my feet and I'm laying down, and it came over my entire body. And my energy was definitely increased exponentially. It was, I mean, and it felt amazing. So consequently, I said, okay, if this is what you want. And I got up and I went and applied for the job. So we will see if my discernment was correct on that. Now, I may not get the job. This happened once before, not in the same way, but same thing. I didn't really want the job. And I went and applied for it. And although I didn't get the job, the production manager came and spoke with me, said, we really liked your interview. We want to put you in these leadership classes and, for future positions. So it could be something like that. I don't know what he's doing, but I know that I was obedient in that moment, and I know I did that in faith. So, if ever you feel you need to, you don't really know what God's will is, ask. Ask for him to show you, ask for him to tell you, and he'll do it in his way. So, I thank you for listening. Again, my name is Israel. I hope to be doing this on a daily basis again. May God's will be done in your life. Amen.